Hi guys, it's Andrea with St. John Paul the Great with some Catholic basics. I don't know if this is like not cool or like sinful or whatever, but I have to say I'm here to talk about the Pope today, and St. John Paul the Great is my favorite of all time. There's a million reasons for that I'd love to share with you someday, but basically he had this great crazy love for love and young people, and I would say he's just inspired me so much to love Our Lady and amazing pope. But I'm here to talk about popes and answer the questions: who was the first pope and who is the current pope? Coolest part of this question: if you took our current pope, who's Pope Francis, and you went back and back and back in time to the lineage, like the succession of the popes, you'd end up at our first pope, who's Peter. And literally all through all those years, Jesus made Peter the pope, and since then there's been someone who's taken the chair of Peter, we call it, until it led to Pope Francis. So from Peter, our first pope, to Pope Francis, you can trace back all the popes. That's why we call our church one holy Catholic and apostolic, because it goes back to the times of the apostles and when Jesus walked and talked on earth. How cool is that? So the first pope comes to be because Jesus, like his father, right? He is both God. They just want to be with us forever. For you. That's the whole goal. If you're what's the Bible about? What's religion about? What's Catholic basics about? It's about God being so in love with you. He just wants to be with you. And so he does whatever it takes. That's what the Bible's about. These crazy radical stories, right? Jesus dies on a cross, you know that. Even before that, he creates us. Adam and Eve can just chill with them. Adam and Eve decide to turn away. Go back to the fall video in the Catholic Basics to get this story. And so what does God do? He sends the flood. We start over. Then with the flood, we start over. We mess it up again. We don't follow the rules. People are killing each other, pain, suffering, kind of like now. What does he do? God himself puts on flesh and comes down to earth. Even though he knows to do that, he's going to die. He's going to die the horrible death he did. But he still does it. He sends his son, and Jesus still comes freely. Because why? Because he loves you and he's after you. So right before he dies, before Jesus has to leave earth, he gives Peter, he says, Peter, these are the keys to the kingdom. I need you to basically establish the Catholic Church to help get people to me. What an amazing radical act of love, right? Peter, on this rock, I'm going to build my church. And that's what God did. The whole, in Peter, the Pope, he basically is the new prime minister. From the beginning of time, the Jews were the chosen people, and the 12 tribes of Israel. This is a lot of history and confusion. But the bottom line is, there's always an order and a hierarchy. In order, it's not about power. It's about bringing us to our King. It's about love. It's about bringing us to a God who loves us. And that's what the Catholic Church does. And that's why the primacy of Peter, the Pope, and his seat helps us get to God. And that's really our ultimate goal, and God's ultimate goal for you, because he loves you more than you can know or ever imagine, and he just wants to be with you. That's what the Bible's about. That's what the Pope is about. That's what the Catholic Church is about. A God pursuing you out of crazy love. And one of the ways he does this is through our beautiful Pope. So the first Pope is Peter, and our current Pope is Francis. And if you sort of start researching this, you're going to see how beautiful our Catholic Church is, how much it makes sense that you can trace it all the way back to that first Pope, who is our rock, Peter.